Now we're going to talk about three specific privateers slash pirates today. The first one is the most famous, perhaps. He's also probably the most noble of the three that we're going to talk about. He is, of course, Sir Francis Drake, who lived from 1540 to 1596. Now, Drake grew up in the seaside town of Plymouth and was well acquainted with the art of sailing and navigation. He also had great trouble with the Spanish. In fact, saw the Spanish, saw their claims, saw their arrogance, saw their pushing of things such as the Counter-Reformation. He saw all of those things as threats, not just to the people of England, but to the rest of the world. He was an interesting character. For example, he was the very first Englishman to actually see the Pacific Ocean. He was the very first Englishman also to go completely around the world, to circumnavigate the globe. Actually did that from 1577 to 1580. It took him a little bit longer than Magellan's crew. He was also one who consistently raided Spanish towns from his great ship, the Golden Hind, and saw it as justified because he was attacking what he saw as an oppressive power. And in many ways, he was correct about the oppressive power, but whether or not he was going about it correctly is another matter. He did, of course, have permission from the English government to do this. Curiously, he was also the first Englishman to directly deal in slaves, that is, from Africa, and getting them to other parts of the world. So we have to keep that in mind when we're taking a look at a privateer like Drake. He ultimately was knighted for his service against Spain. He was one of the very first to really make English power known at sea. Also, of course, was a very strong reformational character and Protestant character. Now, you could be the judge whether or not he applied the doctrines of the Scripture in all areas of life or not, but he was someone who was known for preaching to his men regular sermons, was someone who tried to convert the prisoners and slaves that he captured on board his ship, and who said that his favorite book besides the Holy Scripture was Fox's Book of Martyrs, which largely described the persecution of Protestants and followers of the Reformation at the hands of the Roman Catholic Church, often led by the Habsburg family. So he's an interesting mixed character. In fact, if you read, for example, a book by G.A. Henty that has Drake as a main character, of which he has written some, you'll find a very romantic view of Drake, and part of that is based upon real fact. But you also, of course, have this issue where he tended to use his religion in a very forceful way that was not very winsome, as the Jesuits had done in their various missions.